Well, guys, we are finally moving on from Nintendo Top 10s onto Nintendo's biggest mistake that they let slip through their fingers, the Sony PlayStation. This thing just came out of nowhere and basically helped Nintendo put Sega out of business. I mean, they were on their last legs already, but it came out and with its first outing, outsold the entire competition, which is very impressive.
Yeah.
And the reason it did is because it had a lot of great games. And this is our top 10 Sony PlayStation games.
As with all of our lists, we limit our picks to only 2 entries per franchise. We do not include remasters or ports because they already had their time. However, remakes are fair game. DLC will be discussed if available, but will not influence slot placement. Also, if we have not played a game, we can't evaluate it fairly, so if we left out your favorite game, that's probably why.
Hey, plumber boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived.
We're starting off our list with a character I loved since the first commercial I saw him in, where a guy dressed as him was in front of Nintendo headquarters with a megaphone talking trash. Crash Bandicoot was one of the standouts for just a plethora of 3D mascot platformers, to the point that he became Sony's mascot for a while. I mean, we finally had a contender for Mario for platforming supremacy. I mean, Mario still won out in the end, but Crash Bandicoot gave it a hell of a fight, and he gave us a lot of really fun games, but we're highlighting the first one in this.
Yeah, and the game, it just had some amazing platforming levels. Like, running from the boulder was one that sticks out in my mind, and it was just always fun to, twirl into those crates and get the Wumpa fruits all over the place, and you had your little tiki friend.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that tiki friend, that's my favorite invincible, force field type power.
Yeah, he just comes in, oh my god! Luckily for Sony, this game didn't crash and burn like so many other 3D platformers.
The Sony PlayStation was no stranger to fighting games. There were a lot of good ones on there. One of the ones that we had the most fun with was Gundam Battle Assault 2. The first Gundam Battle Assault was fun also, but 2 had Gundam Wing characters.
Oh yeah.
And we loved Gundam Wing.
Gundam Wing was awesome, and it had more than just Wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a heavy arms custom, most importantly.
Yeah, it had all the customs. It was amazing.
Yeah, if you like Gundam Wing and you haven't played that game, you need to get it. It had some solid fighting mechanics, first of all. Like that.
Yeah, it
It
did.
was so fun.
For a licensed fighting game, it was surprisingly well done. And it was just fun.
And
just get on and beat each other up.
it had the ball as a character.
Yeah.
That was like the first joke fighting game character I can remember, and I loved it. It was so funny watching like a ball fight against, like Wing Zero Custom or some other ridiculous Gundam.
If you're a fan of fighting games and a fan of Gundam, this is a must-have. Like it says, it's time to suit up or shut up.
Three things that were very popular in the 90s were 3D platformers, wisecracking characters, and dragons. And Spyro was a culmination of all of those. Spyro the Dragon was an amazing game. Just had an awesome 3D platforming element to it, and actually had like one of the first instances of decent voice acting in a game. It's not the best by a long shot, but back like in the day when I
by
did
comparison,
oh yeah, it was mind-blowing to me at least. But Spyro was just so much fun. I mean, you had the jumping platforming elements, and you had his like little charge and fire breathing attacks that he could do. It was more than just jumping on people, which gets dull after a while in some cases. But Spyro the Dragon was an amazing adventure to be had on the Sony PlayStation. Just trying to save his clan from the crystals was a ton of fun.
Here's a game that had a lot of copycats, but no one really could do it like Twisted Metal could. And in our opinion, Twisted Metal 4 is the best of the bunch. A lot of people say 2. I like 4. I really like 4 because, you know, just cool characters, the alien with the motorcycle and the family of 4 in that sedan.
Yes.
They might have been in one of the previous ones. I didn't play 3, but they were just great. And you could unlock Sweet Tooth, and he had that crazy overpowered attack.
Yeah, he did.
You could unlock Calypso, and he had a fire truck that launched a nuke or something. It was ridiculous. It was just a ridiculous game. It was a fun time, and every character having their own ending was pretty cool.
That was my favorite part about it. Was like each having like it was the most replay value like I experienced at that point in time. Because you just had to beat the game as every character to see their own little scene.
My favorite part was that it was a CD too. And if you pop the game disc into a CD player, you could hear the whole soundtrack. But I can't think of another game that lets you play as Rob Zombie, driving around in a Dragula, blowing up cars.
If there was one genre the PlayStation was famous for having, I think it would be JRPGs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it had a lot.
It had a lot.
And they
One
were
of the
good.
best ones is Final Fantasy IX. I mean, this was just an outstandingly well done game. It was the best looking by far at the time, and it was amazing. I mean, the main character is the thief, which is a awesome first character loadout to have. My knowledge, it's never happened again, which is a shame. But yeah, Zidane was just an amazing character. He was really lovable. His whole love story between him and Garnet was just amazing. BV was just this adorable little black mage.
I love BV.
This horrible, depressing backstory. And it was all the characters were great. Steiner was the amazing knight type character, and Freya was this cool Valkyrie horse looking thing. It was just an amazing cast of characters. The summons were really great. The best thing I can think of for the summons was that Alexander scene, because it was absolutely mind-blowing.
And it was really cool because it brought back the fantasy feel to Final Fantasy.
Yes, it really did.
Because 7 and 8 were really sci-fi based, which they're awesome too.
Yeah, but this one went back to the fantasy element of really medieval type stuff.
And the cutscenes were just incredible. All of them.
Yeah, the cutscenes were very well rendered. How it even worked on the PlayStation 1 graphically baffles me, because they are very high end. It looked better than some PS2 games. But Final Fantasy IX had the great Final Fantasy elements you'd want, where it's just a bunch of kids doing an adventure thing and they get in way over their head way too quickly. But this one did it differently than the other ones, because it had some of the most lovable characters in the entire franchise.
As many of you probably know, I'm no stranger to a Mega Man game. But Mega Man X5 is one of my favorite ones. It's decently challenging. Very challenging sometimes. The bosses are good. The gameplay is awesome. I love being able to switch between X and Zero on the fly. X keeps his armor from the previous game, which is amazing. Not as amazing as the Falcon armor.
Falcon armor is incredible. Just flying around.
Falcon armor is so overpowered.
Yeah, but it did it in the very cool way where it's not a big beam, it's just a concentrated tiny
it's just
beam.
a little tiny one.
Plus there's the Gaia armor in it.
Yeah.
I mean, that armor is pretty crappy, but it looks awesome and you can walk on spikes, and it's really powerful, but you can't use any powers.
And it is truly one of the Super Fighting Robot's best adventures.
explosive gameplay, extreme graphics, Mega Man X4. The back of the case got it exactly right on this game. Got you prepped for this game, and boy howdy was it a fun ride. Mega Man X4, from start to finish, really showed that this game was ready to make it to the next step on the PlayStation. A lot of games went 3D. Mega Man said, F that, we're staying 2D and putting out a quality title. And God, it was amazing. They're some of the best like Mavericks in the entire series.
Yeah, Magma Dragoon.
Magma Dragoon was just, he was awesome because he was doing like shoryukens and stuff all over the place. But it was also one of the only Mega Man X games that gave you choices. One of the main ones was you could choose the Buster upgrade. You could choose between like a big beam or like a bunch of tiny little beams or something. I chose big beam every time because it was amazing. And you could do the cheat code to get the black Nova armor, and you could just have unlimited like ultimate attacks and just blast through everything, and it was incredible.
This is the first time I think a game made me feel like I was playing an action movie. Metal Gear freaking Solid is such a legendary game for everything like that. No game had as good of a story up till this point. No game had as good of voice acting up till this point. It was just a complete revolution in every sense of the word.
It really was.
Yeah.
God, it was amazing.
There were very few games that were as cinematic as that, even years later.
Yeah, and you're sitting there knocking on walls and throwing crap or whatever to distract guards, and nothing did that at that point. Nothing did that. It was amazing, and truly established Solid Snake as the pure, just unadulterated badass that he is.
Not to mention all the crazy stuff it made you do, like plugging the controller into 2.
Yeah,
Psycho Mantis.
Psycho Mantis was ridiculous.
You read your memory card.
I mean, Snake beat a tank with grenades. It was ridiculous. After all these ridiculous boss fights, these two dudes, twin brothers, just take their shirts off and duke it out on top of the broken Metal Gear Rex for the final battle, and somehow it was better than all the ridiculous battles before that.
What's wrong? Snake!
One of my all-time favorite games is Chrono Cross. This game is amazing. It came out on like the later end of the PS1's life cycle, but good God, was it worth the wait. It's a sequel to Chrono Trigger, and they ditched time travel for dimensional travel in this one. It's a whole other ball game there, and it's radically just amazing. Like, going from one dimension where, someone died, i.e. the main character, to another dimension when he's there the whole time is crazy. You can even cheat the dimensional system in the game, and, with Glenn you can go and get 2 Lancers instead of just having one. It's absolutely amazing, and that makes Glenn like one of the better characters in the entire game. But the characters there are so many characters, because this game has so many branching paths that there are over 20 characters, and you can't even get all of them in 3 playthroughs. It's absolutely crazy. But Chrono Cross is just confusing and fun from start to finish. The dimensional plot gets very convoluted, but it's worth the thought, and the characters are just so unique and likable. The action was great, and it's just one of the best JRPGs I could radically dream of.
And of course, no PlayStation Top 10 list would be complete without mentioning Final Fantasy VII. That was the game, one of the greatest games ever made. It's on so many top lists of games in general, not even just PlayStation.
Because it was so good.
It still is so good. I recently just played it, and it still holds up.
Oh yeah, Like, the characters are well thought out.
And likable, most
Yeah.
importantly.
Except
Well-
Kate Sith.
Yeah, Kate Sith kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it.
And I had never played a game with a story that sprawled out as much as that one did.
It was ridiculous.
Like, just, I mean, before disc 1 is over, you already have, like, a section of a city falling and killing a bunch of civilians. You've got, like, monsters and demons and aliens and just...
A temple shrinking down into materia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
materia
crazy.
system in general is amazing, too. Because anybody can do anything. And it made it was just a lot of fun. And it's... I mean, I said it a second ago, but it really is one of the greatest games ever made.
Hey, thanks for watching. Did you like the video? Why don't you hit that like and subscribe button? It really helps us grow the channel. And don't forget to ring that bell to join our notification squad. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I put the links in the description just to make it easier for you to get to. And we will catch you next time for the next video from the Bro Trio.